All right, we have the initial set of main bearings in this block, and here's what I want to demonstrate. And I'm going to beat this to death. People want to build an engine with one set of bearings, and then they wonder why they don't get good results, even if you take it to a machine shop and give them a set of bearings. I get people wanting to supply bearings and stuff like that, and I shut them down, and I tell them I'm going to just add them to my inventory, and here's why. We have 33 on the very first bore, 19 and 22, which are good, 29, which is not good. If I let this fly, the oil starts at number 1. So we're going to drop oil throughout the rest of the block. Even though it goes down from the cam bearing, I need to have the oil at the back of the block. So it's very critical that the number 1 main bearing is in spec, preferably on the tighter side. It's very critical that the number 1 rod bearing is within spec. The number 2 rod bearing is within spec. The bearing clearance has got to be right from the word go so the oil gets to the back of the block. Well, how do you fix this? You can fix it by redoing the line hone. I don't have that capability, so what would happen is we would clip these caps on the cap grinder over there next to the left of the laptop, clip this one, clip that one, pray these don't change, and rehone it and tighten them up. That's an option. The other option is 1 under bearings. Okay, so this has a 107M set in it, so I'm going to mix and match 107Ms. Main bearings, they vary. There's variance. I'm probably not going to pick up 1,000th by playing with inserts on a standard bearing. 1,000th is going to get me to 19. 1,000th is going to get me 23. Those are all good. Even though factory spec is 0018 to 08 thousandths to 18 10,000ths, we're going to run it on the high side of factory spec because it's performance. So that's how I'm going to do it. So what happens when these manufacturers start making these 1 under bearings? These 1 under bearings are getting scarce. The only way we're going to do it is with machine work. That means the machine shop is going to have to fit your bearings, or you're going to have to play with torque spec. And when you play with torque spec, you're going to make the bore unround, so it needs to be honed and bored to whatever torque spec. So it's going to get much more critical. So there you go. 107Ms. We're going to have to run 1 unders. Now, just to be another thing that is another video, there's a US and an OS. And I thank Jack Laswell for teaching me this. If you tear down one of these factory engines, you might find a US 001 and an OS 001. OS is oversized, which means it's going to be thinner. US is undersized, which means it's going to be thicker. So a US in today's check is 1 under. It's a thicker. An OS is an X bearing, which is an extra clearance bearing. Extra clearance bearings are pretty much gone for these engines. There's no more X main bearings that I've been able to get my hands on. I think the X rod bearings are on back order from Clevite. I think they're the only source. I do have some, but when they're gone, they're gone. I try not to use them. But the 1 under bearings, they're still out there if you find them. So this is what it takes to assemble one of these things correctly. Build it with 1 set of engine bearings is very rare nowadays. Very, very rare if you want a good result.